Final log. Kensan here. Or should I say, Missingno. Well, it looks like my work here is finally done. 8 deaths, but 5 bodies at the hands of the Missingno killer. Oh, what's that? How are there only 5 bodies when 7 were found and 1 went missing? If you've been following so far, you know that Kensan and Missingno are one and the same. But what about the others, you might be thinking? The truth is that the first 2 bodies were not by the hands of the Missingno killer. Did you ever stop to analyze who the bodies were from? Allow me to explain. We have 2 runaways, with not much to live for, tragic souls drifting from place to place. We have an ordinary truck driver, an everyman just doing what he can to provide for his family. We have a priest, a man of God, if you will. Then, we have a politician who enforces the will of the people and who tries to make this country better for its citizens. And of course, how can we forget the wealthy billionaire tycoon? Lastly, we have the chief investigator, whose body was found dead in his office. What a tragedy. Scum, all of them, except the first 2. You see, those are the true victims here. Murdered for the pleasure of those who have garnered the people's trust, those respected by those around them. Our wealthy business tycoon is actually the ringleader of an underground group responsible for atrocities and depravity I wish not speak of. He goes by the pseudonym God. He hosts despicable parties in which the elites of our world and others who have earned his respect attend and enact their darkest desires. The first 2 bodies were victims of just such an event. Their bodies wouldn't have seen the light of day if I hadn't found them and left them to be found by the police. In a panicked attempt to make this go away, God, he threw money at whoever he could to silence us. Behold, the 3rd body, and where Missingno enters. The truck driver responsible for kidnapping and transporting the unsuspecting people was found dead. Oh no. Next, we find the priest who held the transported victims deep within his church's walls while they waited their turn at the next event. And after that, we find the politician who attended these parties frequently and allowed such things to take place without consequence, a dear friend of God. And of course, we have Kensan, who meant well and went sniffing around, but we all know how that turned out. I blocked his memory. Well, our memory, as his kind nature may have interfered with my plan, although now we are one again. At full power and consciousness, we finally took care of the leader himself, God. It's written in plain sight in the video left at the scene of the crime. Lastly, we have the detective, the chief investigator, who has been throwing the entire police force off the trail for some hush money. They could have put an end to this long ago after the first victims were found, but instead tried to hide it and lead a wild goose chase. I'd like to think it's finally over, but God's ties run deep, and I can only imagine that there are others who attended his evil events. Who knows how many countless victims are currently still out there waiting their fate. I took out their leader at least, and for now it's a start. If you're hearing this, if you've been following the clues thus far, then I ask you this. Now, do you understand?